Hello my treasures, it's time to ignite the world with Thori'Belore or Thori'Belore Warrior, which I will never pronounce right, I don't think. And because this phoenix no longer dies permanently after being resurrected 3 times, you now are able to just have an infinite board as long as you have some type of fire spell in your hand. And why would you do this over a stereotypical Enrage Warrior deck? Because it's fun. That's the main reason behind it. I ended up still having a pretty decent success rate with the deck, so it isn't that bad of a deck. One thing that you might be noticing that isn't in the deck, but you probably could end up including is Pyrotechnician. However, I didn't like the consistency of this card since we only really have 4 fire spells within the entire deck. However, there are ways to generate additional fire spells, which could make this card a little bit better. Now, for the Mulligan guide of the deck, the first card that you're going to be looking for is Thori'Belore. We're looking for this card because we have so many ways to duplicate it if we have it in our opening hand. Outside of this, you are going to be looking for your weapon and then early game minions, these being cards like Arms Dealer, Foul Egg, or Crooked Cook. Now, with that all being said, let's look at some game. Okay, time for a game against Mage. Let's see what type of Mage this is going to be. Opening hand is not my favorite in the world. Arms Dealer isn't bad. Cover Artist is technically not bad for a combo, but I think we're probably going to get rid of it. And, well, Light of the Phoenix is the only other card that we might have wanted to keep. Actually, this looks a lot better. I can't complain. I ended up going with a big undead package for this deck. However, I do know if we ran a lot more elementals, in theory we could get a lot more additional copies of Thori'Belore off of Amalgam of the Deep, but I didn't think about that until very late into testing, so we're going to stick with the undead package instead. It also gives us more opportunities of fire cards without having to run a Pyrotechnician in a deck that I don't think could actually handle pulling it off, at least with this version, because of how tight the space is. Okay, so they're probably going to end up being Casino Mage, but that's... I'm actually kind of curious. I wonder if people have been running Pyrotechnician in Mage. I don't actually know how that card works. If it generates a random fire spell across all the classes, or it just guarantees you one from your class. Either way, it should be pretty consistent for face damage, I would think, in Mage. Might be something to try out. We'll see. In Worm... okay. I don't understand why you're going for that, but that's fine by me. Well, I mean, we got Arms Dealer number 2 if we really wanted to put it down. Riot is funny. Does Riot guarantee us lethal on both, depending on what hits what? Yes, it does. So I'm curious of how the order works there. I'm assuming it's order that you place mercenaries, minions down. I got Mercenary on the mind. Actually getting pretty close to actually maxing out my collection, even though I should have had that maxed out months ago. Do we have 2 wounded minions. I kind of want to use the axe this turn, which may or may not actually be a mistake. Depends on where this hits. Okay, never mind. Oh no, we can do it now. And then we can put that down and then coin out the Foul Egg, their little minion. I was kind of hoping that would well, have buffed up our stuff, but it didn't. Alright, let's draw the other weapon out of the deck. I can't I'm assuming this is actually from a game where I was running 2 copies of Instrument and then no Crooked Cooks, because I think this was like the 2nd or 3rd game that I played actually with the deck, if I remember right, in the long run. Went through a little bit of changes here and there. Also had Fizzle in the deck, but the amount of draw power in this deck does not make Fizzle really, really nice to use, at least. Put this down, armor up, and then ping that just to get rid of it. We could have also pinged our own minion and then buffed them up. Oh, hey, first copy of this. Okay. We can make this work. We can make this work indeed. Come on. We can top deck some other additional copies, please. We have like 3 or 4 different options, to be honest. Voone is also a card that I've almost considered cutting out of the deck because I never draw into the card when I need to. Okay, Lightshow. Problem with Lightshow in particular is the fact that it's too high cost of a card, I would say. If it was maybe like 1 mana cheaper, it would be a lot more playable. Might as well put this down. Oh, poisonous, that's always fun. Yeah, let's get rid of the minion, buff everything up, go face. There's Prismatic Elemental. That'll work, ruin. That does ruin our plans a little bit, but that's a-okay. There, oh, fire spell to revive. Amalgam of the Deep. Oh, another fire spell. Come on, Thori'Belore. Aha, copy number 2. All right, how many more copies can we get? Because we have the fire spell to revive the 2 on board. And then if we get something like Zola in hand, that's at least 1 more additional copy. They're going to freeze our minion. Oh, they're going to freeze both of them. Okay. That doesn't really do too much per se there. Okay. Getting rid of the amalgam is kind of funny. It doesn't do what they want it to do. Cover artist. Okay. We can make this work. We're going to cover Thori'Belore here. Put down a mistake. Oh, we copied the freeze. That's fine. But we're 4 or 3 copies deep. Can we top deck a third? Or I mean a second cover? I wish we had a little bit more draw power. Would be a little bit nicer to get an additional copy here, but you know, we should be able to finish them off next turn, I hope. I actually think we have no fire spells left in deck, so that's going to be a little bit of a problem. 6 minions on board. I'm going to freeze something out. That'll stall for a turn. In our face. Okay, yeah, that's our 4th copy. Okay, we can... I just want to make space. That wasn't enough space, but we do have this. So we can pop that. Put down a number 4. And then just hero power and pass it back. It's amazing how many golden copies we have, actually. That's not a light show. We're about to show you a real light show here. Okay, time for a game against Priest. Wonder what this is going to be. Probably Control Priest, to be honest. There's a few Priest decks that I really want to, or ideas that I want to test out. Like a Thaddeus combo deck using the 4 mana revival of an undead minion, having Thaddeus as your only undead. You guarantee him. Let's use... Do we want to use Amalgam of the Deep here? I kind of want to save it because we do have Thori'Belore in hand. So we should, in theory, be able to get additional copies if we trigger or target it. Amalgam of the Deep number 2. I actually... let's just hero power. So, Thori'Belore instant... Oh, Zola, hey! Everyone's joining the party. All the additional copies of this game. Okay. We can make this work. Though Priest is the one class I'm worried about because they're the one class that actually runs silences in their deck. Which may or may not be annoying for us to deal with, but you know, it is what it is. I really do want to do something with Jailer or Thaddeus. Come on, give us something cool. Let's go for Emerald Talon because it has the highest likelihood. Star Sin. Whatever, Eater, Runner. I can't speak this game. I should have went for the 1 cost because it had the highest chance of actually giving us another Thori'Belore if it actually, or if we actually use Amalgam on it instead of on the Thori'Belore that's already on board.
The more you'll strut out, the better.
Okay. Can't tell. Well, okay, coining that out, I get why you're coining it out, but at the same time, that's probably not the best. I hate that they silenced this, but it is fine, I guess. We can also use the Amalgam here. Come on, give us another copy. Nope. But Trench Stalker does help us a little bit. In the long run, it helps us a lot, especially if we can get Voone online. Okay, so that's 4, 4, 1. There's a game that I'm pretty sure this isn't the game, but There was a game where my opponent put that card down. I used cover artist on it and then used Zola. Oh, hey, speaking of Voone, though our hand is a little bit full, that is a little bit of a problem. We're gonna, let's put down Sin Runner because that could prevent Thori'Belore from actually being copied or even the Trench Stalker. But there was a game where I copied it, then used Zola, and then we went into basically fatigue, and I ended up losing just because of one little misplay after like 40 minutes. I hate games like that, but at the same time, they're fun. All right, let's put down Thori'Belore, get an additional copy. Hopefully, they don't silence us. Pop that. Pop that. Okay, even if they silence, we still have one copy no matter what. So we're not in a terrible position. There's Vision of Darkness. All right, let's put Voone down. I would have preferred to maybe have him when we had the Thori'Belore in hand just for the win gone, but this works too. 2 Trench Stalkers is actually pretty nice. Even if we don't have any hand buffs, this is actually not a bad position to be in.
The more you'll strut out, the better.
Okay. Please don't get a silence. Actually, I don't know if a silence in this case matters too much. Oh, it does. We don't really have that much space, and then our Phoenixes are like offline already. Oh, I mean, could be worse. It could have actually been a silence on one of our minions. All right, should we draw 2? Let's use this, get rid of the board. It does 8 to face, and then we use this on the egg. That lowers it by 1. Then just pass the turn. I don't want to revive the eggs right now. That's the main hurdle. We're going to put down the mistake, because that will put 9 on 1 amalgam band, which basically guarantees us everything on it. Astalor, perfect. If we had to burn any card, that is the card that we wanted them to burn. Now, the question is, there's so many like really interesting ideas that I'm just having right now that probably are horrible, but maybe I'll try them out in the nearby future. Like a Meal Druid deck using the Naga that gives your opponent like a spell at the end of the turn. That could easily backfire, but it could also be fun. We can buff everything up. We do have 2 amalgam bands, which is nice. We're not in a bad position for losing, though, either, is the thing. Also, probably could have, you know, done this in a different order, then we might have been able to... Oh, no, we wouldn't have been able to in this turn. Yeah, we're going to save that for next turn. We're at 6. So really, in theory, even if they clear out the board, we win. As long as they don't heal for a bunch. And by a bunch, more than 4. That would do it. Okay. They have 7 mana left. We have 3 on board. Demonic Pop, okay. Demonic Pop is not going to pop your way out of this one. Time to get a little bit stalkerish in here. And wabam. Okay, time for a game against Death Knight. Let's see what they have in store for us. Okay, instrument tech is actually pretty decent. Light of the Phoenix. Might be something to include in or keep in our opening hand, but I don't really think we're going to. Not in the long run. Of course, we got the second copy. I think this was the game that made me want to remove one of the copies from our list, because it is a minion that doesn't have a tag on it, so we don't get any advantage there. And I wanted to make a little bit of additional room for Crooked Cooks instead. And Fizzle was the other casualty of that, if I remember right. Let's just draw one. But yeah, Crooked Cooks felt a lot more consistent in the deck overall. I just didn't like the fact that they originally had no tag. Oh, there's Thori'Belore. Let's see what we can grab. We actually probably should have kept that in our hand for a little bit longer. Going for Sylvanas because we can actually make use of her. I'm assuming at this point this is probably blood. They're 40 cards. They haven't really played anything that would tell us they're blood. But don't really need to play anything to tell us what it is, given how they're actually playing. By now, Fire or Frost and Unholy would have swarmed the board. Just gonna put this down and go face.
The more you'll strut out, the better.
You here for the tour?
Okay. So do we I think we actually do want to use the weapon, even if we're not guaranteed anything or guaranteed the infusion on the weapon. We could also try to trigger it just to see how it works. Yeah, let's do that. Then we kill that, clear out the board. Probably actually should have just put it down. A little bit worried of a corpse explosion is probably the reason why I did it like that instead. Speaking of corpse explosion, of course they added Dirty Rat. Yeah, draw that card out of my hand. Do we want to slam this down? I don't really want to slam anything down, to be honest. If Thori'Belore wasn't in its egg shape, we would probably put down Cover Artist, but the nice thing about Cover Artist plus Zola is that, of course. Okay. How do we want to do this? Oh, fire. That is quite fire here. We use cover to grab an additional copy. Attack there, attack. Probably should have just kept attacking the Dirty Rat, but it is alright. Because if we attacked the Dirty Rat there, then I think they would have guaranteed hit into... Oh, they were already at full or close to full, so it wouldn't have mattered too much. What? You gonna... Wait, they're actually running Heartstrike? Why? I get it that now that... Oh, that's actually a pretty nice top deck. Let's grab that. Kill that. Yeah, we're just gonna let these sit for a little bit. I have a feeling they'll probably have some other way to deal with our board, and I'd rather just not have to. Yeah, there we go. It was turn 8. They were at 15. Oh, that is the top deck though we needed to see. Let's go. Sun Fury Champion, and then Embers of Strength, revive everything, and then hit everything, go face, buff up our little birdies, armor up a little bit just in case. Kills one of the birds, but that is fine. We're actually not in a bad position. All we're worried about is Corpse Explosion and another one of the Soul Stealers. And that is neither of them, and it puts them out of range of being either of them. I almost included that card too, but you don't have enough token generating cards to make it online for draw 3 most of the time. We're just going to slam this down. As much as I would love to save it. Oh, that's... Do I want to draw 2 cards? I think I do. Oh, hey, Fizzle. Light of the Phoenix. We can buff everything up. Probably should have used Fizzle, to be honest, because I miscalculated and we don't get people here. Get really close. We needed one more hit. If only we had one.
Excuse me, over here.
Ooh, Amalgam is actually kind of funny. And we get a third Phoenix. Phoenix number 3. Well, Nelly is probably the safest bet. Can't hit their face this turn. We're going to want to get rid of the board. I can't decide if I want to use Fizzle this turn or if I just... Yeah, let's just put something down. I'm hoping that even if they kill the board, the 3/3 will stick around. Because all we really need is that 3 damage to face.
Well, Menagerie. Anybody?
Oh, Heart Strike. Oh, that really hit our Death Strike. I got them confused for some reason. Okay, holy friend. I mean, at least on. Don't really care what we top deck. Just give us something cool. Is that something cool? Is the question. I guess it technically is, because we can put this down, going for Sword Eater because that's a weapon. Oh, Amalgam Ban is always nice to see here. And then Amalgam of the Deep. Then we can armor up. And then hit that. Hopefully leaving the 4/4 won't be a mistake. We have 7 HP. Or 9 HP. I don't like being in the position we're in right now, but this game also is demonstrating why I cut out Fizzle. There's a lot of decks that I would love to try Fizzle out in. Soul Eater. Oh, actually, that helps us a little bit because we can put down Sword Eater. Come on, come on. Oh, do we have enough mana to do this? Yes, we do. Is put down Sword Eater. Oh, space would also be a problem, maybe. Then we put down one of the amalgams, get a pirate, doesn't really matter what. I'll grab a third amalgam, why not? Come on, give us something cool. Give us lifesteal, that's all we need. There we go, hey! You know what they say, the band must play on, and oh boy, did it do so in this game. Alright, now that we're through the games, let's discuss my final thoughts of the deck. So overall, this deck is a aggro deck. I don't really like posting aggro decks, however, the fun little twist of trying to get as many Thori'Belore as humanly possible was something that I really wanted to do ever since the recent balancing changes to him. Now, do I think this version of the deck is more consistent than the other versions of Enrage Warrior that exist? No. However, it does do exactly what I set out to do with this deck, which means it's a success in my mind. Sure, and while I never got to pull off a game where I had 7 Thori'Belores on board, it is actually possible within this deck. Voone acts as 4 additional copies at a bare minimum. Then, if you also duplicate the Voone again with one of the Zolas, you can get even more copies of the Phoenix, and so on and so forth. Overall, I'm really happy of how this deck turned out, and honestly, if you're looking for a deck to make use of this recent buff, this is the perfect opportunity to do so. And like always, if you enjoyed the video, please do like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, bye-bye.